Hello. Today's video is about things to watch out for regarding victims of narcissistic abuse. Most people who have survived narcissistic abuse are good people who are trying very hard to recover. Naturally, they have issues, but at least they're working on those issues. They're also willing to share what they learned to help others and do so with no arrogance. They're open to input from other people too because they realize they don't know it all and there's always more to learn on this topic. Not every victim is this way, however. Some turn abusive. I don't know why some victims try to heal and why some become abusive, but it does happen. If you're going to interact with other victims through online support groups, blogs, social media, etc., you need to be aware of some red flags. Obviously, the biggest red flag is to watch out for narcissism. Many of you know those already, so I'm not going to repeat them. If you want to read about them, though, you can go to my website at www.cynthiabaileyrugg.com. There are more red flags too, such as a person who gives advice too freely. While most victims do want to help, they also realize it's incredibly rude to give out unsolicited advice. They also realize that sometimes a person just needs to speak things out loud to help them work through things, and that doesn't mean they're looking for advice. If a person is bossy with their advice, that's another red flag. Healthy people realize that all people are individuals. What worked for them may not work for others. They realize it's best to let the other person decide for themselves whether or not to follow their advice. Your average victim of narcissistic abuse also isn't judgmental or critical. They know all too well what it feels like to be constantly judged and criticized harshly, so they don't inflict that on anybody else. Victims who turn abusive, however, can be extremely judgmental and critical. Some abusive victims also become very arrogant. They think because they found success in some area that everyone should do the same that they did, and if they don't, they're stupid. These same people are usually the first ones to shame people who, quote-unquote, don't just go no contact. They make it very clear they don't believe there's any reason whatsoever not to go no contact, and they offer no compassion to anybody who is unable to. Abusive victims also make excuses. They never apologize or accept responsibility for anything they do. And if you call a person like this out on their actions, they may offer a non-apology by saying something like they're sorry if they said something wrong, or they may offer lame excuses. They're also going to be very mad at you. That's a big red flag because most victims of narcissistic abuse apologize very easily and often. A little too easily and too often, in fact. They don't get mad when called out on their bad behavior. They usually only get mad when someone is accusing them of something they didn't do. One other red flag is a smear campaign. This is especially common on social media. While most people say something negative about someone or maybe a group on their social media, completely trashing that person or group is a very big red flag. The last red flag is stalking or harassing another person online. With your average victim of narcissistic abuse, they may have a dispute with someone and either just stop speaking to them or block them entirely. A victim turned abusive, however, may harass and stalk someone who disagrees with them. They may leave nasty comments on their page or join groups that the other person is in and harass them in that group. The best advice I can give in these situations is the gray rock method. Don't react to their outrageous behavior and don't show them that what they say or do bothers you in the least. Remain calm and ignore their behavior. Don't defend yourself to their smear campaigns either. Just simply block them wherever you can. Most people like this will get bored pretty easily and leave you alone at some point. Narcissists may bother you for a long time though, so never respond to them and instead just keep blocking them and their flying monkeys and protect yourself. Thank you for watching my video.